I came into the sacred site during the winter time. And it was during that time, during the winter months, that I felt the voice and the presence of the ancestors. And in my mind came the words, Wikomo Anishinaabe, invite the people to return back to the sacred sites. In the parallel world of the spirit is a central council fire, where the past prophets, the visionaries, and the great teachers of the past sit in council and wait for us to light our fires so that there can be communication for us, giving us guidance and direction in our time of need.
We will light the world in such a way that will truly bring light to the world in the way that we feel it in our heart, that there will be light, that light is what is going to prevail, not the continued darkness. Even as the sun is shining, we're surrounded by darkness that we have created as human beings.
The rivers have turned to gray. The color green no longer paints the leaves, and the trees have all burned away. People have made the colors change.
Your ancestors did not intellectualize in their mind who the Creator was. Our people felt inside the love of this great Spirit, and they felt and experienced that love from the land.
All the teachings that we have as a people are all a reflection of the importance of the spirit of a human being. The ceremonies we do, the dances, the teachings is all a reflection of acknowledging the spiritual reality of our existence. The spirit, the spirit, the spirit. And there is a spirit in you, there is a spirit in me, there is a spirit in a tree, there is a spirit in a bird, there is a spirit in an animal. That is how we're able to have such an easy understanding of our connection to the land and to nature, because everything that is alive has a spirit. And to our people, that spirit is a part of what we refer to as the greatness of the Great Spirit, that the Great Spirit has put a part of its spirit and its being in everything that is alive. As Indigenous people, we've tried to reflect that spirit of giving and that spirit of sharing. In this place that we call America, we have given, we have shared. Everything that was ever lent to us by the Creator, we have shared it. And today we live in this country as the poorest of the poor. And yet we have been the most giving. We have been the most sharing people. And that cannot be denied, because history speaks for itself. But now we come forward as a people, and we come forward to share the greatest gift that we could ever share with the rest of humanity. And what we are about to share is our heart now, the deepness of our heart that carries the knowledge and the wisdom that we have as a people, in terms of our spiritual relationship that we have with this high power of spirit that we call the Creator, and why we love the land so much, why the land means everything to us.
In the name of our organization and of the youth of all the Americas, I have the honor respectfully to request His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh, to officially declare the inauguration of the 5th Pan American Games.
I remember as a young boy being asked to carry the Olympic flame that came from Mexico, and it landed in Minneapolis, and there was 10 of us that were chosen to and given the honor to carry the Olympic flame into the city of Winnipeg to light the beginning of the Pan American Games here in Manitoba. At that time, I had no understanding of the significance of carrying that fire. All I knew is that I was having a really good time. Being off the reserve for the first time, living in a fancy hotel and riding, 3 white convertibles, being wined and dined like in a way that I've never been experienced in my life. I experienced something that I've always held in my memory as a very enjoyable time. But the flame itself, I didn't realize that it would play a big part of my life.
And now, on behalf of the Queen, who sends you all her very best wishes, I have the great pleasure and honor to declare the 5th Pan American Games open.
I was the runner that was selected to carry that flame into the stadium. And I remember the day really clearly that it was really pouring rain. And I don't know if that reflected or became a metaphor of what was about to happen.
There's a good example of just how hard it's raining at this moment.
Like the Spirit was, knew that we were not going to complete our journey the way that we had hoped that we were going to complete it. I came to the entrance of the stadium with the flame, only to have someone come and take it from my hand and take off with it and run around the stadium and go and light the cauldron of in the stadium. After we had run 500 miles, we were not given the honor to go and light it. And of course it was a non-Aboriginal, that came to take the flame. And I look back and I saw that as a metaphor of what was happening to our people in that time, in the 60s, that we were totally marginalized in society, that we were never really considered, and recognized as a people that could, that they could have and make equal contribution. It wasn't until later on that I went to the elders, to seek their mentorship and their direction and to begin my training, my spiritual training, to understand more of the deepness of our culture and who we are as a people. I went to the elders and spent a lot of time with the elders, to try to understand basically who I was. I didn't really understand my own purpose in life. I didn't really have a vision, a meaning, and yet I was at that stage that I wanted to learn more about myself. I was very unhappy with the conditions that we were living in as a people. I was angry, for what I believed was done to our people, so I had all of these things inside. And I always remember the grandmother, that mentored me in the beginning. She says, the first thing we got to do is get rid of your anger. You can't go walking around like that. You're going to hurt someone, you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to get sick. Got to get rid of it. So of course, what they did is they put me through ceremony, like the sweat lodge, Sundance. They put me through all of that. And then I would go to the elders and say, I still don't know what I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to do? There's got to be something. We can't continue to live like this as a people, to be oppressed and live this constant environment of poverty with all the symptoms that come with that poverty. The addictions, the violence. I said, there's got to be an answer. What is it? And I didn't really, at that time, really care about any other people. All I said, I want an answer for my people. I don't care about anybody else. But of course, what happened was that vision came, but it included everybody. I look back in the years, and I believe that at that time, and when I was that age, that I know that I was carrying the spirit of our ancestors. The first vision, that I had on my first vision quest that the elders took me on, I think it was on the third night. And then I went into a dream, and I was inside a teepee, and I looked in the horizon towards the sun, and I could see a little speck in the horizon. I could see something coming, but I couldn't tell what it was, and I kept looking at it. But of course, the closer that it came, I began to recognize what it was. It was a buffalo. But it wouldn't stop, and I was, in vision, I wanted it to stop, you're getting too big. And I was getting really scared, witnessing, the presence of that buffalo as it was coming. And it came closer and closer, and finally the buffalo, ended right in front of me and just gave this loud snorting, and I was, absolutely, totally terrified. After the vision quest, I took that to the elders, and I said, what am I supposed to do here? Why did that buffalo come? That elder said, the buffalo come to tell you it's time now. I said, time for what? It's time to give yourself now, they said, to learn. And they said, look at the buffalo and how much it meant to our people. The buffalo gave every part of its being so that our people could survive. And the elders would always say, allow the buffalo to lead you in your life. Like when our people used to go after the buffalo and hunt the buffalo, they would always be one day behind. The buffalo would be one day ahead. And it would be the buffalo that would decide when they were going to give themselves, not the people themselves. Then the buffalo would stop. And then the hunters would come. And the buffalo say, it's time. So the buffalo would become a very important spiritual helper, in my life. But still I had not been satisfied that, I had the proper vision on what I'm supposed to do. How was I going to, how would I give of myself? Like the way that the elders had said the buffalo came to you to tell you to give, you would have to give yourself now to serve the people, they said. That was not an easy choice to make, because the question was, how was I going to live now? And at that time I was the superintendent of education in the community, and I had a staff of about 100 people. And that's when I made the choice that I was going to leave and walk this way of life. No regular check, no more money, no more cars, none of those things that I had become so accustomed to. Because it was shortly after the appearance of that buffalo that I decided that I would walk away from that way of life. And right to this day, I've never gone back. It was shortly after that they sent me on another vision quest. And the elder put a blanket over my head, and then he led me toward where I was going to go on my vision quest. And he says, don't look back, because your life will never be the same again. Because much as what has held you back, you must leave now. And when I got to the site of the lodge that was prepared for me for my vision quest, I think it was on the third night again, and I went into a vision. I went into a deep, deep dream. And in the lodge that I was in, this gigantic turtle came, and that spirit of that turtle, instructed me to get on its back. So I got on the back of that turtle, and then that turtle took off, and it was fast. She took me to many different places that I'd never seen before. It was like turning a television channel. The pictures were changing fast. It was later on that I remembered that ride on the turtle when I traveled to Israel, when I traveled to other parts of the world, because what she did, she took me across the ocean. The dream moved on, suddenly, we came to a place, and what I saw was this lodge that looked like a turtle. And on top of the lodge was an eagle flying, in the sky. The sky was really blue. And there was a fire on the east side of that lodge, and I saw the old people sitting around there laughing, joking around. And I could see the woman, working near the lodges. And I could see the children playing. I could see gardens on one side, where people were working in the gardens, planting things. And I saw horses, and I saw buffalo. And then on each direction I saw little turtles. And as the vision, progressed, I saw people coming out of each of those lodges, those little turtles. I saw the red people, I saw the yellow, the black, and the white, all heading toward that main lodge. And that essentially, was the vision. And I went to the elders and I shared. And the elder said, you were very blessed, to be visited by the grandmother turtle. Now your job, you got what you wanted. You got your vision now. And at that time, I was so excited, and I'm going to build a lodge next week. I got the vision. And of course, the first thing, because of the way that I was trained, that I gotta have money, otherwise I have no lodge. That was the first thing. And of course, that never happened. There was never any money, so I could never build a lodge. I traveled, all over the country, all over the world, meeting the most wealthiest, being wine and dined with them, and I'd share my dream, but no, there was no support. And I look back today, and of course it was meant to be that way. It was meant for me to feel the vision itself. It was meant for me to realize and to learn what it means to have a vision and to make the vision real. I had to learn that. I had to experience that. And I would say it took me about 25 years of my life since I had the vision of the third lodge to finally realize, like what I had seen. In order to make the vision work, you have to believe that it's going to happen. There cannot be any doubt. It's like, when our elders talk about the Spirit, they say, you have to believe before you see the Spirit. In scientific terms, the way they believe is you got to see it first before you believe it. That's that world. But in our world, you got to believe it. You got to believe. That's what dreams and visions are all about. You got to believe in the vision. And yet, essentially, you've already seen it. You've seen it somehow, but in a spiritual way. But you cannot go and take that and go and get someone to analyze what you've seen and say, well, boy, I think that's wrong. Because that's the other thing that happens, is people will try to change your dream. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, and this is no good. And people just naturally do that. And you got to be true to your dream. I had to go through that process of really believing that it could happen, because I denied it for the longest time. It's gonna happen. Don't have no money. There's no people. There's just every excuse for me not to allow it to happen. Until I reached that point, and I said, and I told myself, it's going to happen now. And then everything just fell in place. The vision has a life of its own after. All you got to do is just kind of just ride along with it. It just falls in place. Like when we built a turtle lodge, people say he's not, it's never going to happen. The guy doesn't have any money. He doesn't have anything. How does he expect to build a turtle lodge? And within a very short period of time, once I decided that it was going to be built, it was like the people were waiting for me to decide. But as long as there was doubt in me, nothing was going to happen. It was a dream that I was given, and the people were waiting for me to believe in it. The dreams that you have don't belong to you. They belong to the people. The gifts that you have don't belong to you. They belong to the people. See, that goes back to the understanding of our people. Everything that we are given belongs to the people. Everything. And when you reach the fullness of using the gifts that we have that are unique in each of us, and when you serve the people, is when you see the gift become strong and real. The schools that you're in today, the priority is to educate you in an intellectual way. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what about educating the spirit inside of you? What about getting to know that inside each of you there is a spirit that carries the uniqueness of the gifts that each of you have? The Creator blessed each and every one of us with gifts that would identify our personalities and our uniqueness, that would help to identify what our purpose is in this world. Each and every one of you have a special gift. Do you know what that gift is?
Directions, eh?
I know. Hey, listen, get over here. I need the drum. I'm standing outside with no money by the Regal Beagle. Half an hour, I need the drum now. Okay, call me when you get here. All right. Carry my shirt.
That's it, boy.
Would like to call on Manitouabe's one of our spiritual advisor, Mr. Dave Kershane Jr. Let's give Dave a big round of applause.
How do you do? Honey, Nigani Akinid, listen to Kas, can you do it? Chibaba Chitwan away, the Jiggy to the Moniash. Nigats Menandina, Tami get it Madizwin, you know, Sinan. Nigats Menandina, Nigimi not gain Anishinaabe, Tamino Nagok Mikana. Nigimi not gain Anishinaabe Nubugego, Kevin Chi, Cheat, Menup Madizwin. Nogum Deskanian went away. If we wait to go, me now, and in Gagi to go out, me go, Anishinaabe. one of the elders, that guided me and took me under his wing. And he said something that I've never forgotten. And he said, you must go home and light the sacred fire. He said, fire is going to become a really important element of the return of the people, he said. You must go and light the fire, the sacred fire. The sacred fire that will act as a doorway and an entrance for the Spirit to come and support and inspire and help the people spiritually, he said. Because the fire is a doorway to allow the entrance, of the Spirit to come within our presence and in our influence in this human life. And that elder had said, many times, many people will come, he said, and they'll be around you with the fire and it'll be happy time. And then suddenly he said they're going to leave you because they're going to be tempted by that other world. They're going to go and trying to live in the comfort of that other world, the security of that other world. They're going to lose the significance of the meaning of the fire. But he said, don't worry and don't get angry. Don't get mad when people leave that sacred fire. Keep that fire going. Because there has to be someone there to welcome the people when they come back, when they find out that that life that they're looking for is not in that world that has been created by man. He said they'll have to come back to the fire where that life is. We've kept the fire going. All the ceremonies that we've done, the fire is central. And I have been given the opportunity, to travel around the world. And one of the conditions of my travel, as I visit other parts of the world, is that I'd be allowed to light the sacred fire wherever I've gone. I've lit the sacred fire in the Middle East, in the Qumran, which is considered the lowest point of elevation on the earth. And I asked, for representation of the 4 races to join in our efforts as we lit the sacred fire. We went into South America during the time of the gathering, the Earth Summit gathering in '92, where all the world leaders had gathered to consider the seriousness of what was happening to the environment, and we lit a sacred fire. And there were many people that came from all over the world to come and witness this fire that we had lit in that area in Brazil. I've traveled to Japan. And everywhere that I've gone, they gave me the opportunity, to light the fire. And I would explain the fire wherever I went. We went into the Philippines, in Manila, through the invitation of the president. And again, the sacred fire had been lit. And of course, we have lit the sacred fire, all over in America. The fire is going to help bring, the light. And when we talk about the light, we're really talking about the love that comes from the essence of that fire that is brought by the Spirit. Recently, we had the arrival of a young white buffalo that has, come here to Manitoba, and the significance of the spirit of the hope of the white buffalo was and is that when the white buffalo appeared, then a new life would arrive, and it was just before a very special gathering that was going to happen here, where there was a call made to have the elders return back to one of our most sacred sites called Manitoba here in Manitoba. And one has to understand that we were prevented by law to engage in anything that reflected our belief as a people, and part of that was making a pilgrimage to our sacred sites. We were prevented from doing that. By law, we were prevented from speaking our language or practicing any way of our life that reflected, our uniqueness as a people.
They are calling it a homecoming. This site is called Manitowape, meaning where the Creator sits. Straying from many Aboriginal ceremonies, this conference had an unparalleled feeling of openness. Here, private ceremonies became public in an effort to reach out.
What made the gathering so special, that the gathering was inclusive to all people. It didn't only mean Indigenous people. That we as a people would share the spirit of our knowledge, the spirit of our understanding through the elders. But we would make invitation to all people to come and join us as we celebrated our own survival. Of course, in celebrating our survival, that would also advance the survival of other people.
We get up to Gixami Imagi Pishan Kainge Ginonten Nakatansin Kape Ginontek Chinan and Begish Kiape Epi Chekchaminamanchawan Begish Kiape Ani Shisek Chenem Mounted Dad Mina Anishinaabe Chakianse Pitassamapit Kain Tashkego Ginonte Departimosil Owen Gimanachak Imaga Kiayat Bima Gikantaman Geget Owe Pisintago Isim Owe Imaga in a bean gang Nashketas Oete Bi Ginikian Me Kipinaskuit Owe Hot so can mine Owe Dike.
Digo, Igby, we took Hazoeko in Nongum. Chigego Anish Nongum. Ejimamo with Nongum and Anishinaabe. Ejiguetet. Sinaquetagos it. Chayatip Madiziwin. My dear brothers and sisters, it fills my heart to see all you beautiful people gathered in a circle here this evening. It was prophesied by the prophets and the visionaries of our people that a day would come when our people would find their way back to the sacred sites of our ancestors. And as they made their return to the sacred site, their memory would come back. Tonight, we are going to celebrate with the way of the drums. We've invited the drums of the four directions to come and join us here this evening to carry the essence of the spirit of the message that has evolved in this gathering. Tonight, we honor the original vision of the Creator, which had balance in His vision. One of the things that the elders have said, if the people are ever going to be heard again, then the drums must carry the voice and the wishes and the dreams of the people to the higher power in the universe. And I hope that you will join us in that prayer of peace that we want in this world. That prayer of brotherhood and sisterhood that we need to live together.
The circle was huge, and it was so amazing to have representatives for each of the four nations there. And for me, one of the most powerful parts of it all was that we all did separate rhythms, you know, of the four directions. And then at the end, we all got onto the same rhythm. And the dancing went around, everyone started to dance around, and I felt like my spirit was going to jump out of my body. I was so excited. Yeah, it was just beautiful. And the wind was going, and it was just powerful. I felt like something opened up. You know, I really felt like that gathering was almost like a fresh start. It was like a birth for us as a community, all nations, and what we can do together.
It was pretty. It was actually pretty neat because we've never done anything like that before. In terms of we did our own performance like for a couple of minutes, and then the other nations did their performances as well. And then when we did the sort of collaboration, it was sort of like an on the spot thing where we all just sort of melded together and played all as one, and that was really fun. It was kind of an unusual event, and it was really neat for us to do that.
We play together. This like bring like. I really feel, and I really know it, that the spirit was there. It was there. This is not, for me, that's, when I went back to Toronto, I carried that with me because I really believe that time that the spirit was there. In Africa, where I was born and grew, you know, drum is part of life. We don't just drum because we love drums. We drum because drum, from the origin of the time, God gave us the drum like a symbol or like a tools to put people together. And tools, like if we have problem in the village, what we use to go through those problems is through music, is through drumming. Drum used to be, up to now, is like we use it like a telephone tool. We use it for communication. We use it to send message. We use it to receive a message. We use it to answer for message from village to village or tribe to tribe. So drum is something that is more older than us. It's more older than the nature himself. So when you look at the nature, you listen to the sound of the thunder. You listen to the sound of the thunder just going boom, 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 boom. You know, this is like, you listen to the winds going through the trees, all the branches coming across to one another. This is the music. So the drum is part of us. Whatever culture you come from, the drum belongs to us. The drum is not because we are First Nation or we are African or if we're white or Japanese or Asia or India. The drum is always there. So we can never live without the drum because even though we run from the drum, the sound of the drum will get us back because we can't live without that. It's a power, it's a strength, the drum himself, because the drum is saying, teach us how to sing. The drum, the power of the drum gives us strength in the heart, and the power of the drum gives us a way to love one another.
Inoption ai dekan mission ke ninwin ko pejo bandaman min ke ka pes min ko Anishinaabe anin ke ship matisit mi ma kinege ko heyak kinege ko wensek ka shawanda wasit Anishinaabe mi das banda ka bimin shamang mi ga gi she minin Anishinaabe.
The way you live your life, if you live it in the goodness, if you live it in truth, in love, the payback for you will be that love will shine. And that love that emanates from you, it will become like the ray of the sun. Everybody that you touch, anybody that you come close to, will feel that. And from you, you will help those. And what I would say to people is like, we are children of the Creator. We come through this life to love, to respect, and to honor one another. And those who don't understand it is because somewhere in the past, maybe they lost somewhere. But it's through our prayer that those one can come back. Because we are people. When you look at newborn baby in the hospital, if you ask newborn baby, which color are you? And if you ask newborn baby, what is your name? Which country are you? The newborn baby, you have to be crazy to ask newborn baby, which color are you? You have to be crazy to ask newborn baby, which country you are now, because they don't know. We come on this planet as innocent. When we grow up, then we get brainwashed. Then we start to put borders. And then we start to say, I'm this, I'm that. We just kid. Because you are 1,000 years, your mom and your dad will still call you my baby. So I think that if a woman being stand up and start to find inside herself that little flame of that child that you are, we all will live in peace.
There is no other way to live but in peace and in love and in respect, and to hold a sacredness to all life. And Spirit had said that when we were able to achieve the unity of all the races of the earth, then something would be broken. And what would be broken was the division and the separateness, the hatred, the superiority, the inferiority. All of those things would be broken. Within our evolution as a people, we, like any other people, had prophets and visionaries that saw the future. It was said that the suffering of our people would come to an end. And during that time there would be an emergence of what they refer to as Ogichitak, the warriors of the rainbow. The prophecy had foretold that during this time of great challenge and darkness, a new people would emerge. And these new people would come from all walks of life. They would not only come from the indigenous people, but they would come from all other races. And they say that these new people, referred to as the warriors of the rainbow, would have a really deep concern as to what was happening to humanity, what would be happening to the environment, what would be happening to our home that we call planet Earth. According to the prophecy, the red nation, the red people, would initiate the joining of the four races. Being the initiates of this movement really means that we as a people will lay the foundation of the new world that will evolve. But it will include and must include all the four quadrants that are represented by the other races of people. Because each race of people have also been given certain duties and responsibilities that they must bring forward. And as those gifts are shared, it will help us to identify a much fuller meaning of our existence as human beings and the relationship that we must have with the earth. According to the wisdom keepers of our lodges, the gifts have been identified in this way, that the red nation, the red people, have been given the gift of spirit and the earth. The yellow people have been given the gift of emotion and the air. The black race have been given the gift of the body and the water. The white race, we have been told, have been given the gift of fire and the mind. And if you look at a lot of the technology that's been created by the white race, it is mostly fire. And it is the responsibility of the white race to understand their gift and the meaning of what fire is, and how do you use the gift of the mind, to be able to create things that do not destroy. Now, if you take all those elements and those gifts and you bring them together, then you begin to see the hope and the possibilities of creating a greater humanity and a greater world, where the red man's understanding of spirit and connection, to the land would act as the foundation of the mind, creating a technology that would not destroy the world. That is why the young people of today, I believe, are being handed a lot of special gifts to be able to do the things that this generation and the past generations have not been able to do. These are the warriors of the rainbow. These are the young people that are out there that have the potential to bring in a new world that will take us beyond this ugliness that we live in today. These young people need to be encouraged, need to be supported in order to fulfill their destiny, to be the warriors of the rainbow. And in order for these young people to be able to fulfill their duties and responsibility, they will need the mentorship of the wisdom keepers. And the wisdom keepers come from all walks of life, also from all cultures, that have a much greater, deeper understanding of the significance of life.
I've got an idea, please let me share it with you. Ceremony's the cure of this, I am so sure. Calling the elders, calling communities, must come together for the youth, you see. I wanna live, I wanna breathe, and feel the sunshine down on me. I wanna live, I wanna breathe, I wanna see what I can be. I wanna live, I wanna breathe, and feel the sunshine down on me. I wanna live, I wanna breathe, I wanna see what I can be. I wanna see what I can be. I'm gonna see what I can be.
Mein kenige ku wanung che no chku hishe pak ase kieno ha pitre ki kchmasan amago na ne ko kwa wopski ya minike ku nasho nat tamagoing ske ku mitiko ha pitre hawi o kikie ske o ka te pachmuan kinike ko che respect each other take skill kwe mitiko kino so ke ko wana ne ko the mother to ka ki she mini ko sin kina moin ta ke ko wo skip mat set che tapen mapen chicken moin tapen hanin ke ni she mino mat sing.
The elders, the grandmothers, are so wise. And if you find an elder, a grandmother, that really understands life, and if you go and talk to them, it's absolutely amazing what they will do to help you to understand, life in the way that it should be understood. According to the teachings, in the beginning, the Creator had a dream, He had a vision. And in His vision, He saw the sun, He saw the moon, and He saw the stars. And He saw more than anything that we could ever even begin to imagine in our minds. The vision would be symbolized by the circle. It would come to be known as the circle of life. The sun is in a circle. The moon is in a circle. The stars are in a circle. We rotate around the sun in a circle. Everything reflects the vision of the Creator, that the vision that He had was a circle, that we come to know today as the circle of life. That what we put into the circle becomes the essence of what we receive in life. What we put into the circle is what is returned to us. That's why the elders always say, what you Be careful what you put into your circle. And within the circle, the Creator put balance. And our elders talk about the 4 quadrants that are a part of that circle of life, that are represented by the 4 seasons, which is a reflection of balance: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And within the circle of life, as human beings, we were created with 4 elements that reflect our nature as a human being. There are 4 parts that reflect that balance. The spirit, the emotions, the body, and the mind is what constitutes the fullness of what our being is. And we are to nurture that and ensure balance in our life by taking care of our spirit, looking after our emotions, our body, and our mind in an equal way. Balance becomes everything in understanding and living out the fullness of life. Nature operates on balance. Like what we are doing as human beings, we are creating an imbalance. And what Mother Nature is about to do is about to bring balance back to the earth. The old people say in our language, the earth is about to change. And the way we understand it is that nature will use the forces of its own to help bring us back to balance. We cannot continue to destroy the environment, to destroy the earth, and to destroy each other as human beings and expect to have any hope of future for our children. Nature will be the deciding factor in helping bring balance back to life. There's nothing greater than the power of nature. And that is something that we need to learn as human beings, is to work with nature, to be a part of nature. That is the way of our people, to work with nature, to work with the spirit. Because when you work with nature and you work with spirit, you're working with balance. I think that our biggest challenge that we face today as human beings is to try to regain the memory of our agreement that we made with this great spirit that we call the Creator. Before we came into the wombs of our mothers to live the human world, it is told by our teachers that we had all agreed with the Great Spirit that we would come to help bring a fulfillment to His original dream and vision in that circle of life. And we had all agreed that we would come into this world to do everything that we could to help bring the fullness of His dream, and which was to bring love to the world that He had created. That is our responsibility as human beings, is to perform all those acts of love to ensure a fulfillment of the vision that the Creator had for all of us. That is our role, that is our duty and our responsibility as human beings.
Now it's time. It's the time for the people to wake up now. It's time now for the fire to be lit within each and every human being. Because what this is really all about is lighting the fire inside.
We will light, the world in such a way that will truly bring light to the world in the way that we feel it in our heart. That there will be light, that light is what is going to prevail.
wende, wile, wende.